You know, and you're like, okay, it has the qualities of a Louis Vuitton handbag. It has the L and the V and Louis Vuitton written on it, but something doesn't seem right. Something seems amiss. Thank you, Judge. Thank you, State Prosecutor, who's trying to put me away for the rest of my life. Do I believe her or not? But I feel like we've suffered enough. We've had enough trauma for it. I'm scared. I'm frightened. I want my mommy. Good morning, Sofa Squad. It's me, Paul, with Reporting Live from my sofa. How's it going out there today? I hope y'all are doing wonderful. It's a little bit rainy here in the campground, but we're going to make it through. It's a good, drizzly, snuggly, Halloweenish day to talk about Ezra McCandless. So, without further ado, let's review. Now, before we start talking about this hot mess of a testimony, don't forget, check out the description, check out the pinned comment, join our Facebook group, come hang out tonight. We're going to be doing Facebook Live and doing all sorts of fun stuff, so be sure and hang out with us there. Now, y'all, so many of you were like, oh my God, I can't wait to hear what you got to say about her testimony from the last video I did about the trial. And so I wanted to come on here and make a video. Now, here's the thing about testimony, y'all. I could probably sit here and make a 3-hour video on that testimony, but I feel like we've suffered enough. We've had enough trauma for it. I'm scared. I'm frightened. I want my mommy. I'm going to just talk about a few key points that jumped up because y'all already know. Y'all already know. So let's jump into it. First of all, let's talk about her demeanor on the stand. Okay, to me, she is very rehearsed. I mean, I will say this. If you ever are in need of a situation like hers where you're like, ooh, I got to get there and testify against myself, her lawyers have prepped her very well. I would like to know their secret. Because she acts like she has rehearsed this so many times. She always looks at the jury. You know, she almost cuts people off, even her own lawyer, when they'll be like, okay, now we're going to discuss exhibit. Yes. Yes. Thank you, Judge. Thank you, State Prosecutor, who's trying to put me away for the rest of my life. I appreciate you giving me the phone number, or the page number. So she does this stuff like that she's very polite. She's very articulate. She's very well-spoken. She's extremely comfortable up there. You know, and Jason was the same way, her ex-boyfriend. So I'm like, oh, I see why they were together. Now, here's just little nuances that I'm kind of like, because there's a lot of this, like, what I consider the whole pseudo-intellectual thing going on here with this crowd, this coffee shop crowd. And she mispronounces some words and I'm just like, okay, for as smart as you're trying to sound, and y'all already know me, I'm not trying to make it out like I'm some genius, you know, I just have a bachelor's degree, I'm not some PhD person, but I'm also not trying to sound like I am either. And she mispronounces some words and I'm like, yeah, it's part of an image, a facade type situation. It feeds into that where I'm like, albite, you didn't know what that was? You didn't recognize that? That's a very, I mean, my God, that's a 10-cent word in college classes, trust me. You know, so that part I was just like, okay, the little thing she gets hung up in there, but that's me being petty. So, but again, I just feel like it plays into a little bit of this costume that she's wearing up there. Now, the main chunk of the testimony, y'all, and I'm talking hours worth of testimony, is days worth, is her talking about these journals and the defense and the state getting up there and talking about these journals. I really, honestly, I didn't know what to do. I would have to go do stuff around the house, whatever, and come back and they're still talking about it. It never ended. It's all the testimony was about. And so that's what I kind of want to just talk about for a minute here. First of all, nobody can ever find the right page. I literally, if you went down and edited it down, all the moments where they are trying to get each other on the right correct pages and all that, I bet she would only be up there for like an hour. I mean, that's what it felt like. I know I'm being dramatic. First of all, obviously the defense is trying to paint a picture of Alex as a horrible human being, that you can read these journals and you can completely see that it was inevitable. He was going to attack someone eventually. This was just what was going to happen. And so, to me, that tactic, it can go one of two ways. You know, because you are accompanying it with her, who she does, now that she's on the stand, come off as rather believable. You know, all the little signs are there for believability, but we'll get to that in a minute, my personal feelings on it. So then you accompany that with these horrible journal entries. And honestly, a lot of it depends on who is in that jury. Okay, so I've taken philosophy classes. I was an English major. I took philosophy classes, but literally the requirement, I might have taken 2. And I mean, you do go explore parts of human nature, some dark, some light, some neutral, whatever, but it's all about questioning life itself. So this guy wanted to be a philosophy major. So that doesn't ring any kind of bells with me. I'm just like, no, I anticipate him to examine all sorts of human nature. And a huge thing hanging over the testimony about the journals is I'm like, we're seeing it through her eyes. He is not here to say that he wrote that about her. And I felt like the state could have done a better job proving that. Because, essentially this, honestly, it felt like a writing class to me. This is literally borderline what we would do in my writing classes where we critiqued each other's work. And how much they just kept going over and over and over it just felt so ridiculous and redundant at a certain point. And it just felt for nothing because I was like, well, we know she lies. She's gotten caught in several lies. And she's using this whole, I have no independent recollection of this event. I'm relying on notes and testimony and depositions and all this type of stuff or whatever. But she got caught numerous times lying already. So what's going to stop her from getting up there and saying, he wrote that about me, he wrote that about me, he wrote that about me? And again, even though I felt like, my God, we read his journal since the age of 5, there's also going to be lots of other stuff that we're not seeing. Remember, pre-trials and all this stuff take place, and that paints a picture as to what we are seeing. And we are seeing way more than the jury is seeing. So we're seeing a whole bunch more than that. But even then, so we're not seeing everything. We're not seeing all his journal entries. So you can probably, if you went through my journal entries, I mean, I'm not writing a journal anymore, but if you went through and pieced them together, you could paint me in many different pictures. I mean, it's just what it is. And his were this very, not psychology, but philosophical viewpoint on things, and trying a little bit too hard here and there, but whatever. It was his gig. It's what he did, and he enjoyed those writings, and they were great. I mean, they were interesting to me, but I'm not buying that he wrote all that about her. I just am not believing that. Let's talk for a minute about the believability factor on her. So here's my thing. Do I believe her or not? Again, like I said, she has qualities of someone that is believable. Because now she's recalling the story perfectly. Well, that makes it unbelievable to me. The way that she has been trained to look at the jury and acknowledge everything, not to get upset. Yes, thank you. Very polite. She's an excellent witness on the stand. There's no doubt about that. And because she's so excellent, it makes her unbelievable to me. So, it's almost like this. It's like a fake handbag. So, a good fake handbag. When you see a Louis Vuitton handbag that's fake, and you're like, okay, it has the qualities of a Louis Vuitton handbag. It has the L and the V and Louis Vuitton written on it, but something doesn't seem right. Something seems amiss. That's what she seems like to me. I'm just like, well, from a distance, she seems believable, but there's something not right with it. The interior of the bag's a little off. The stitching doesn't line up over here. The LV fell off while I was at the cash register. So, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, that's what she is to me. She is like this knockoff handbag that I'm like, yeah, the qualities are all there, but not the qualities, the different layers are there to make up the Louis Vuitton handbag, but the quality just isn't quite there when you look at it really close. And so that's what I feel about her. If the jury goes with, we feel sorry for her, and we believe her, then it's not going to be a good thing. So I feel like the state, I really want to see what the state has to say in their closing arguments. I really want to see this, because the evidence kind of speaks to itself. There are things that do not add up about that crime scene. She lied about the crime scene. She got caught about this. There's things that aren't adding up to it. So we're being asked to go out on this limb of Alex is this horrible human being who tried to attack her out on this deserted road, who he hadn't even tried to get up with her for some time. I still stand by, I think she went to his house, she lied to him somehow to get him out there, and she killed him. And then she put his body in that car, you know, and that's just what I think happened. And then I think she disheveled herself. She cut Boy on her arm. I mean, she already admitted to this. And then dragged herself up to this house. And I think also she has sat in jail for however long she's been in there. Remember, one thing I'm seeing people say is the no emotion. Okay, so for me, this goes this way. We all handle trauma differently, like all of us, in different ways and at different times during, after the trauma. So when they played the audio tape of her right after, you know, the police are talking to her and all that, that is an upset person. You know, and again, it kind of plays to the defensive side of, you know, oh, well, you know, look at how upset she was right after. You know, even though she acts like nothing bothers her now, type thing. But she has been in jail. Her life stopped at that moment. When they arrested her and was like, you know, here it is, her life stopped at that moment. So she's been analyzing this every day and going over it every day. She seems like the type to me that probably sits in her unit, whatever, her cell, with her cellmate and rehearses being questioned. Like, that's how much time and energy she's probably put into it, in my opinion. So to arrive here and be like, I've been reliving this moment, because I don't believe that she forgot it or whatever. I don't believe any of that. You know, she's been reliving and recreating her story ever since. And so it's just like, yeah, stabbed him 16 times. Yeah. What's the weather again today? Type situation. So there's that. So people's reaction doesn't play a whole bunch with me unless it's like way over the top. And then I'm like, are you faking? It's just, you know, it's like a thumbprint. Everyone's reaction is completely different. And depending on the situation is the believability factor for me. I have never been so happy to see testimony end in my life. I mean, I was just like, this is getting ridiculous. It was definitely kind of interesting just to see her, because she really she maintained the whole time. It was kind of bizarre. And now, you know, I said this before and I'll say it again. Y'all, I think we're going to make it through this whole trial without a single bit of evidence from Walmart. You know, I was shocked. Honestly, y'all, and I made a joke about it somewhere. I was like, if they come out at the end of the testimony and they're like, and we have Alex on video buying the journals from Walmart, I'll be like, that's it. I'm done. I'm out of here. You cannot convince me that Walmart is not under the judicial branch's umbrella somewhere. Yeah, because they are wrapping criminals up left and damn right. So, you know, if they introduce some Walmart footage into this case somehow, I'm done, y'all. I'm just done. So literally, I'm just like, I think it's the only case in a really long time where there is not Walmart footage. Maybe the Millis trial, Mullis, whatever his name was, maybe that one, but I don't remember right at the top of my head. Anyways, y'all, that's it. I don't want to go too deep into this one because I could be here all day long. I mean, y'all, she was up there for I don't know how long talking about these journal entries, and I'm just glad to be through that. I want to see closing statements. I appreciate all of y'all coming and hanging out. Don't forget to check us out on the Facebook group. Come hang out there. And tonight, if this goes up, today is Wednesday, day before Halloween. I'm doing my Halloween stuff tonight. So we shall see. I'll be doing it on Facebook. So that's it. I really appreciate it. And I will talk to you soon.